we're going to start by creating a new file, and the size of it is going to be 1350 in pixels by 1000 pixels. The resolution will be 300 pixels per inch, and we need a white background. And we'll do that with FFF or choose white. Either one works. Okay. So we're going to create some text, and we are going to give it a glitter effect. And we want to start off by setting some colors in our foreground and background right here. So the foreground, I'm going to put in 525252. That puts a dark gray. And then the background color, I'm going to put in 0D, 0D, 0D. That is nearly black. Okay, so those are the colors. We are going to use our gradient tool, and our gradient tool is docked with the paint bucket right here in the middle. And if we look up here, we have our gradient color picker. This first one here is simply foreground to background. So wherever we start to draw it is our foreground color going to be first, and then it's going to end in our background. So that's the one we're going to do. Then here are the different types of gradients. We have our linear, our radial, angle, reflected, and diamond. We want radial. And if we position our mouse in the middle, and if you don't have your ruler on, this might be a good time for you to go to view rulers. But you can see, based on where your mouse is, it's going to show you over in the ruler where you are. And it doesn't have to be perfect, but you do want to get it pretty close to in the center of your page. So I have it at 3.5 and 0.1 right about there. So I'm pretty close to in the middle. So I'm going to click there, and I'm going to drag to a corner, and I will have that lighter gray, or the gray in the middle, and the almost black to the outside. Then I am going to go to the filters menu, and the filters menu are cool because there's lots of things that you can apply to change the appearance. So we are going to start by adding some noise to it. So here under noise we have add noise, and I am simply going to change the amount to 5, and I'm going to check monochromatic, and I'm going to leave it at uniform, and I'm going to click OK. And so this is going to wind up with the as the background of our glitter file here. So next I'm going to choose my type tool, and I want to make some settings or change some settings rather in my options before I get started. So I want the elephant font, elephant regular. If I start typing it, it'll pop up. I want the size. I'm going to start off with 120. I don't know exactly what it's going to be. I do want the color to be FFE B0F. Okay, so it's a specific shade of yellowy orange. And once you have that, type glitter, Glitter, and here I can see that 120 is going to be too big. So let me bring that down to, I'm going to actually say about 95 is where I'm going to put it. 95. There we go. And then once I have it, I'm going to go ahead and move it to the middle of my page. Next, I'm going to go ahead and duplicate this layer. And remember, there's several ways that you can do it. I'm going to go ahead and right click and choose duplicate layer. This new layer is going to be called Glitter Copy. So for right now, we are working on that top layer, the Glitter Copy layer. So we're going to double click on Glitter Copy to bring up the layer styles. And the first thing that we want to do is apply the drop shadow. And with the drop shadow, I'm going to choose multiply. The color I'm going to change to 383838. And then I'm going to change the angle to 120. Distance to 5, spread 0, and size 10. Then I'm going to check inner shadow, and Photoshop is hanging on to some of the settings, so I want to click this reset to default to get it back to normal. Okay, and then I'm going to change the color of this to 625841. It's going to give you kind of a brownish gold color. The size of this will be 13, and we'll make the contour half round, and then we'll go to bevel and emboss. I want to do that reset to default as well, because notice it usually comes in as inner bevel and smooth, which is what we want. And then we want the depth of this to be 450% and the size to be 10 pixels. And we want the contour to be log. Now, if you have not already gone to this gear and added more contours, appended them, you need to, because log is one of those. Here it is. And I'm going to click OK on it. I want to check that anti-alias box next to it. And then I'm going to change the highlight mode color to FFF 119. And then the shadow mode is going to be 8A7B3E. And I'm going to click OK there. Then I need to check contour under bevel and emboss, and I need to check anti-aliased here. So now I'm going to click OK on this. So what I want to do now is I want to hold down my Control key and click on the thumbnail of this T here so that I get the marching ants selected around the text. I'm then going to set my foreground and background color. Foreground is going to be 7D6905, and my background is going to be D3C614. And then I'm going to create a new layer at the top that I am going to call Texture. And I'm going to use my paint bucket, remember, which is with the gradient tool, to paint with the foreground color. And so that's the color that it is getting. I'm then going to deselect with a Control D, and with my texture layer selected, I want to go to the filter menu, choose my filter gallery, and when you open your filter gallery, you've got different types here. I want to go to sketch, and I want to choose note paper. Right there. I'm going to change the image balance to 25, the graininess to 10, and the relief to 11. And then I'm going to click OK because I have to apply that to it. Then I'm going to go to the filter gallery again. Oops, let me Control Z. I need to filter gallery. I need to actually go down here to the filter gallery. If I choose that top one, it applies what I just did. That's not what I wanted. All right, so now this time I'm going to texture, and I need to choose stained glass, which is right here. With the stained glass, I'm changing my cell size to 2. My border thickness is 4, and my light intensity is going to be 1. And then I'm going to click OK to apply it. You can see how this is starting to get a glitter effect already, but we're still not done with that filter gallery. This time I'm going to go to Stylize, and I'm going to choose Glowing Edge right here. Under Glowing Edges, I want the width to be 2, the brightness 10, and the smoothness 5, and then I will click OK. Now I want to change the blend mode of this texture layer to overlay. So right here in my layers panel, I can bring this down, and again I am changing it to overlay. It's about halfway down. Okay? Now I'm going to add another new layer, and this new layer is going to be called Sparkle. And on Sparkle, I want to get my brush tool, and I need to have my brush panel open, and I want to adjust some things so that I can see what I need. With my brush panel open, I need to go in and set my brush tip shape. I'm going to choose the hard round. The size is going to be 10 pixels, hardness at 100, and the spacing, see right now how it's set at 25? If I set it at 322, notice how it's spaced out. Okay? Then I'm going to check Shape Dynamics, and I'm going to change the size jitter to 100. I'm going to change the minimum diameter, leave it at 0. Angle jitter, 100. Roundness jitter at 62. And then my minimum roundness at 25. Oops, did I not type 62? Yeah, and 25. Okay, and you can see the example in here how there's different sized and they come in at different angles. That's what that does. Next, we're going to go to scattering. Check that. We're going to set our scatter up here at 431%. We are going to set the count at 1 and the count jitter at 0. And then we're going to go to color dynamics, and we're going to change the foreground background jitter up here to 100. The hue jitter to 0. The saturation to 0, brightness 50, and purity 0. And if smoothing is not already checked, go ahead and check smoothing.